So while I was in Ningbo, something happened and I wasn't recording. There was actually quite a few moments in Ningbo that I didn't record. I just was trying to enjoy my time with Eva and Annie. Anyway, we were driving to the train station to pick up my tickets, I think, and we stopped at a street light. The street light was a pretty big intersection, about 4 lanes on either side, so like an 8-lane intersection on both ways. And there were 2 guys that were on the inside, basically like right about there, near the light, and one of them had a big sign that he had made himself. The other one was just sort of hanging out, and they had 2 bicycles, and both of the bicycles had some stuff on it. And I said, Annie, what does that sign say? And Annie says they're begging for money for food, and that they're cycling, you know, traveling. And I told Annie, I said, Annie, I have to give these people money. I mean, that's, if anybody deserves it from somebody like me, it's somebody that's Jayoe traveling around. And Annie, right away, it's like, they're not real, Matt. They're not real. I said, what do you mean? It's a fake story. And in Ningbo, that's true. There's a lot of like sort of homeless people. Maybe they're not really homeless. They've got a nice car and everything, but they go out and beg. Some of them will throw themselves in front of your car and then extort you for money. There's a lot of nefarious things going on in Ningbo with people trying to scam each other. And Annie is a bit glasses half empty with regards to trusting people. And so she said, they're not real. You better not give them money. I'm telling you, they're fake. Light turned green. I lost my opportunity. I kept driving. While I was driving, I was just thinking in my mind, I'm like, I'm pretty sure those people are real. And wouldn't it be something interesting to prove it to Annie that there is still faith in humanity and meet these people? And I'm like, damn, I can't believe I missed the opportunity. This is kind of a beautiful little enclave right here. Got all these egrets, and then this little patch of palms that are just sort of poking up out of the farmland. Quite nice. Anyway, we're driving away, and it's nagging at me. I'm like thinking that if I was a cyclist and a guy like me looked out his window who is also a cyclist pushing themselves and didn't at least make an opportunity to reach out and help them in time of need, who am I, you know? What am I good for, you know? So I said, Annie, I'm sorry. We had already been like a fair distance away. And I said, Annie, I'm sorry, I gotta turn around. I gotta go back. I gotta show you these guys are real. She's like, okay, but if we go back, you gotta let me ask them some questions. I said, okay. She's like, if I can prove that they're cheating, don't give them any money. I said, okay. Everybody's going to work. Field workers. I saw a car of them drive past. I couldn't get the camera out quick enough. It was a big pickup truck, and all you could see was different colored cone hats, all like packed into like 30 people packed into the back of a pickup truck. Ni hao. Anyways, so she wanted to ask him some questions and prove herself right, prove me wrong, and validate her suspicion that they were not real. We turned around, we drove back. I flagged them over. I parked on the side of the road, and they come up next to the car, and I said, you're riding your bikes? They said, yeah. Now, the first thing I saw was they were really quiet. Like no smile. There was no like energy of a traveler. You know, there's a certain thing that we get as travelers, and it's this kind of like this, I guess it's an optimism, or just like a freeing feeling, the fact that we are, you know, engaging with the world in such a way. But these people were not that way. And I was starting to, the first reaction was like, oh God, I hope Annie's not right. Where are you going? How long have you been riding? And he says, a few months. And I said, where are you riding to? And he was saying some location. I said, I'm a cyclist. I said it in Chinese. I'm riding around the world. And even Annie translated again, make sure they understood. Oh yeah, he's cycling around the world on a really special bicycle. And their reaction was, I was shocked, because if I was cycling a long tour and somebody pulled up alongside the road and then was asking me, and I was begging for money, and they were like, yeah, I'm cycling around the world too, I would have been like, darn, if anybody can appreciate my circumstances, it's going to be this guy. But they just did not seem interested at all. And I don't think it was a lack of understanding. I was just defeated. So, in a last-ditch effort to try to bring some validity to their situation and prove myself right, I said, give me your WeChat, which is like the chat program. All Chinese people have it. One of the things is you could see the pictures on their wall, sort of like a Facebook timeline. I said, Annie, well, if I can get this and prove through pictures that they're cycling all over China, I am proven right. We can help these kids out and be on our way. Finally, after a little bit of communication, he gave me his WeChat, and I open his WeChat and I look at it, and I've been accepted as a friend. Like a lot of people, you're restricted until you become a friend, and then you can see all their pictures. And he accepts me, and I look, not one picture. And even his profile picture didn't have a bicycle in it. Most of the time, if you're cycling, your profile picture is like your most current iteration of yourself. For me, it's my face, but most people cycling, it's a bike or something. There was nothing that indicated that these guys were cycle adventurers. I looked at Annie and I said, I guess you're right. And Annie's like, just go, just go. And so I drove away and left him on the side of the road. Before I had left, I said, you don't have any pictures of where you've been? And the guy says, I don't post pictures on WeChat. To be Chinese and not post the pictures of your adventures, it's a rarity. Most of the time they're over excited about putting too many pictures. You'll see blades of grass, pictures of little pieces of dirt, too many pictures. But these guys didn't have any. And so sadly I drove on. I went to the house. Annie was not happy that she was right. She was just, this is a reality of Ningbo, a reality of China right now, is that a lot of people are trying to, make a buck however way they can. I feel like the people here, they have a little bit harder candy shell than the Taiwanese or the people even around Ningbo, especially in Japan and Korea. They give you some weird looks, and it takes a little bit longer to actually break through and have them kind of like smile. I've been looking at people since I've been talking to you guys and smiling, and a lot of times I don't get them to break until I already passed through. I don't even know if they broke. They just kind of give me that this dead stare. I know, I'm probably pretty strange. Anyways, that was it. Okay, let me wrap this story up. So I get home a few hours into the afternoon after dinner, I think. I get my phone, bloop, 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 bloop. I look at my phone and I'm like, who is that? It turns out it was the guy, the cycling guy, and it was a host of pictures. Cycling, monuments, bikes in front of places, all the things I was hoping to receive from them, but never got. And in Chinese he wrote that his travels recently have turned troubled with him and his friend, and they ran out of money, and he was sort of like apologetic that he wasn't enthusiastic when he saw us, and that it was because a lot of really good vegetables growing here. These are onions. You can smell it in the air. Anyways, he said he's had a rough time, and I told him about how Annie thought that he was, a cheat, a con man, And I sort of had to agree with her after talking. And he's like, no, just a little bit down and out. A good turnaround to the story, right? I ended up transferring a bunch of money to him on WeChat, you know, quite a bit for them, and hopefully they could use it to have a good meal and try and recoup. But I went back to Annie. I was like, look, they're real people on a real journey. And so I saved my humanity, and my optimism proved over Annie's pessimism in this case. Anyways, that was a neat story. I wish I would have brought my camera, because the whole thing played out very interestingly, and would have done so on camera, but I didn't have it. But I can tell you the story now.
Next time on the Jayoe vlog.
I've lived in China for a long time, so I know that there's a animosity and a hatred towards the Japanese. Those horns on those trucks are ear-piercingly loud. He's taking a picture of me, taking a picture of him, taking a picture of me. What is that called? Gobble gobble?